My keycard barely registers in the apartment door when my phone vibrates. A weather alert about unusual rain patterns in Austin. Rain in October. Perfect ending to a 14-hour day spent debugging security protocols. I push the door open, slip off my heels and drop my laptop bag on the kitchen counter. The burgundy blazer I chose this morning now feels like a straitjacket after hours of boardroom presentations. The microwave clock blinks 8:37 p.m. Too late for dinner. Too early to justify ice cream. Leftover lasagna it is. But before I can reheat it, the doorbell rings. Who could that be? I mutter, patting across the hardwood in my socks. Raindrops blur the peephole, but I recognize her instantly. And my stomach drops. 23 years haven't softened that calculating stare. The blonde hair might come from a bottle now, but it's still her, my mother, Vanessa. And beside her stands a young man with her eyes and a slouched posture that screams entitled boredom. For a moment, I consider pretending I'm not home. My fingers hover over the lock, trembling. The doorbell rings again, sharper this time. Michelle, honey? I know you're in there. Open up, we're getting soaked. That word, honeyvite, feels strange on her tongue. She lost the right to use it when she left our home in Cleveland with a suitcase and never looked back at her 10-year-old daughter. I open the door, keeping my face neutral. This is unexpected, I say. Surprise! Vanessa chirps, arms open for a hug I don't return. When I stay still, she awkwardly lowers them. Aren't you going to invite us in? It's pouring out here. I step aside automatically. Please come in. She breezes past me, bringing the scent of expensive perfume and cigarettes. The young man follows. Ethan, my half-brother. We've never spoken. Memories flash. Dad hunched over bills, exhaustion carving shadows under his eyes. The diner's broken air conditioner during the hottest summer on record. 12-year-old me washing dishes after school. Doing homework in the back because we couldn't afford extra help. Nice place, Ethan remarks, glancing around with thinly veiled judgment. Kinda small though, isn't it? It suits my needs, I reply, closing the door firmly. Can I get you something to drink? Water for me, Vanessa says, tracing a finger along my bookshelf. Got any beer? Ethan asks, collapsing onto my cream-colored couch, still in his damp jacket. No beer. Water, coffee, or tea? Whatever. He sighs, already scrolling his phone. Vanessa studies my living room, the framed photos, the books. I've heard you're doing well. Some kind of computer job? Cybersecurity analyst, I answer, placing 2 glasses of water on the table. How did you find me? She waves a hand. Oh, you know how it is, everything's online now. A pause. Your father mentioned you'd moved to Austin. That surprises me. Dad never said they were in touch. I hear you're making good money, she adds lightly, settling into my reading chair. 6 figures, right? That promotion must have been a big deal. A chill runs through me. I never told Dad my salary. The promotion was 7 months ago. What brings you to Austin? I ask. Ethan looks up. Mom wanted to see you. And I'm checking out schools. Schools? Ethan got into a private business program in Chicago. Vanessa cuts in proudly. Very exclusive. Only 40 students admitted each year. Congratulations, I offer. Yeah, thanks, Ethan mutters. It's expensive, though. Really expensive. And then it clicks. The real reason they're here. Michelle, Vanessa begins sweetly, leaning forward. Ethan needs this opportunity. The connections, the prestige, it's everything I couldn't give you. Her manipulation hits hard. 23 years of silence, and this is why she's back? The tuition's high, she continues, and with living costs in Chicago, we figured $4,500 a month would cover everything. Ethan adds casually, plus I'll need a laptop. Maybe a car. Chicago Transit's pretty sketchy. My hands shake, but I keep my voice even. That's quite a request from people I haven't seen in over 2 decades. Vanessa's expression falters before softening again. I know we have a lot to catch up on. That's why I thought we could have lunch tomorrow. Talk about it properly. She reaches for my hand. Family helps family, Michelle. You, of all people, understand that. I pull my hand back. I have meetings tomorrow. Dinner then, she insists. Ethan's future depends on this. Wouldn't you have wanted an opportunity like his? The irony burns. I wanted a mother who stayed. A childhood without working after school to help Dad pay bills. Someone who remembered my birthdays. I'll check my calendar, I say finally. Where are you staying? The Westgate. Room 412. We'll be here through Sunday, 5 days. I open the door. I'll call you tomorrow. After a stiff goodbye and Vanessa's awkward half-hug, I lock the door behind them. The air feels heavier. My apartment somehow violated by their presence. I lean against the door, taking slow breaths to steady my heartbeat. $4,500 a month, $54,000 a year. For a half-brother I barely know, requested by the woman who abandoned me, I sit at my laptop, open my banking app, and stare at the savings I've built through years of long hours and sacrifice. I could afford it. That's the worst part. But as I close the laptop, a calm certainty settles over me. I may still long for her approval, but I won't buy it with my security. This time, I refuse to be left behind. Rain beats against the window as I slide the lock into place. Their scent, her perfume, his damp jacket, lingers like ghosts in the room. I exhale deeply, exhaustion washing over me. The lasagna sits forgotten in the microwave. I head toward my bedroom to change when something makes me freeze. My laptop, the one I'd closed before answering the door, now sits open on the kitchen counter, screen glowing with my online banking dashboard. My pulse races as I move closer. The activity log shows 3 failed login attempts from an unfamiliar device within the last hour. I wasn't even home. The timestamps, 8:12 p.m., 8:15 p.m., and 8:17 p.m., line up exactly 20 minutes before the doorbell rang. A wave of dread hits me. I open my email, scanning through messages with rising panic. One catches my eye, flagged unread, forwarded from Dad's email. It contains my employment information, salary, and the promotion announcement from 7 months ago. No way, I whisper, my voice echoing in the quiet apartment. My hands tremble as I call Dad. Hey, kiddo, he answers, calm and familiar. Everything all right? It's late for a weeknight. Dad, has anyone been in your email recently? Specifically, did you send anything about my job to Vanessa? The silence on his end says enough. No, but he clears his throat. I got a password reset alert last month that I didn't request. I changed it right away. Thought it was just a random security thing. My stomach tightens. Dad, Vanessa, and Ethan are in Austin. They came to my door tonight, asking for money. A lot of it. What? His tone sharpens. Michelle, I haven't spoken to that woman since she left, over 20 years ago. I sink into a chair, dizzy. They knew everything, Dad. My promotion, salary, the exact figures, things I never shared online. Only you knew. Jesus, he mutters. Didn't you say that kid of hers was good with computers? The realization hits hard. Ethan's lazy slouch, his curious glances around my apartment, his quick demand for a new laptop, none of it was casual. I need to check something, I tell Dad, putting him on speaker. I open my security settings and scroll through login history. 3 unfamiliar IP addresses show up, all linked to hotels in Cleveland, from 3 weeks ago. They've been planning this, I say quietly. They didn't just show up in Austin, they came for me. For my money, Dad exhales heavily. What do you need from me, kiddo? His question snaps me out of the haze. I grab a notebook and pen, my hands steadying. Everything you remember about that password reset. Dates. Times, any weird emails before or after. As he talks, I jot down every detail in neat handwriting, just like I do when documenting security vulnerabilities at work. My training takes over. Identify the breach, assess the damage, secure the system. I'll call you tomorrow, I tell him. And Dad, don't reply if she reaches out again. After hanging up, I brew a strong cup of coffee and sit at the kitchen table. The storm outside rages, but a strange calm settles inside. I create a folder labeled Vanessa and Ethan and start collecting evidence, screenshots, timestamps, my father's notes. A text from my coworker Jenna pops up. How'd the board meeting go? Up for happy hour tomorrow? I type back rain check. Family emergency. But can I ask, your brother's a lawyer, right? Anyone he'd recommend for privacy issues? Her reply is instant. Martin Keller. Tough as nails. Want his number? A soft knock at the door makes me jump. Through the peephole, I see Mrs. Wilson, my elderly neighbor, wrapped in her robe. I'm sorry to bother you, dear, she says when I open the door. But I saw a woman checking your mailbox this afternoon. Didn't think much of it until I saw her come back later with that young man. I thought you should know. My blood runs cold. Checking my mailbox? You're sure? She nods. Around 4. Tall blonde woman, nicely dressed. Tried the handle first, then looked through your windows. I thank her, lock the door, and add her account to my growing evidence file. Moments later, my phone buzzes with a bank security alert. Unusual login attempt detected. I ignore the link and call the number on the back of my credit card. The rep confirms 3 new attempts, all from an Austin hotel IP. The Westgate. By midnight, I've reset every password, changed security questions, and added 2-factor authentication to every account. My credit is frozen, IT notified, and a meeting scheduled with Martin Keller for the next morning. Outside, the storm calms. I watch raindrops slide down the window, feeling the weight of what's happened. I've secured what should never have been violated, yet the emptiness remains. $4,500 a month. $54,000 a year. Vanessa's demand replays in my head, no longer shocking, just revealing. This wasn't about reconnecting or rebuilding a bond. It was never about family. The truth settles like lead. My mother invaded my privacy, broke into my father's email, and planned a calculated scheme to take my money. I close my laptop, exhausted but resolute. The confusion that once froze me has hardened into clarity. The child who once sought her mother's approval still lingers, but tonight, she steps aside. A new version of Michelle Rowe has taken her place. This isn't about being cruel or unforgiving. It's about ending the cycle. It's about survival. A day after the confrontation, my phone vibrates while I stir cream into my coffee at Copper Bean Cafe. The text preview makes my stomach tighten. How can you be so selfish? After all I sacrificed for you, I flip the phone face down. Across the cafe, a toddler laughs as her dad pretends a spoon is an airplane. That's simple. Cheerful moment feels like it belongs in another world compared to the chaos waiting in mine. Ready to order, Miss Rowe? The barista, Tina, asks, pen in hand. Just the coffee today. Thanks. 2 hours later, the calm breaks when the cafe door swings open and Vanessa strides in, her heels echoing on the wooden floor. She spots me immediately. Michelle. Her voice carries enough for several customers to look up. I've been trying to reach you for days. I keep my tone even. It's been one day, Vanessa. She sits across from me, her platinum hair falling neatly into place. You've been avoiding us. Ethan's college deadline is next week. I've been working. Family comes first, she insists, reaching for my hand. You of all people should know that, after how your father struggled when I left. My pulse quickens, but I pull my hand away. Is that what we're calling abandonment now? Heads turn. Vanessa's voice sharpens. How dare you? You don't know what I endured. You're right, I don't, I reply, standing and packing my laptop. And this isn't the place to discuss it. Everyone. Vanessa raises her voice to the entire cafe. My daughter makes 6 figures at her fancy tech job, but won't help her own brother go to college. Who refuses to help family? Heat floods my face as curious eyes turn toward me. The barista offers a sympathetic look. We're done here, I say quietly, heading for the door. You ungrateful child, Vanessa shouts after me. You should be thankful I gave you life. I don't turn around. That afternoon, while checking my email, I discover Vanessa has taken the argument public. Her social media post tags distant relatives, heartbroken that my daughter forgot her roots. Success changes people. Within the hour, my phone fills with calls from family members I haven't spoken to in years, each one armed with Vanessa's twisted version of events. Aunt Patty's voice trembles when I finally answer. Michelle, honey, your mother's devastated. Can't you spare something for Ethan? Did she mention she abandoned me at 10 and never contacted me for 23 years until she needed money? Well, no. But I need to go, Aunt Patty. Take care. I block 3 numbers before another text appears, from Ethan. Mom's crying because of you. Man up and do the right thing. $4,500 means nothing to you? I need this now. My finger hovers over the block button, but then I take a screenshot instead and save it in a folder labeled Documentation. The next morning, I sit across from Martin Keller in his downtown law office. Despite the early hour, his charcoal suit is crisp, and his salt and pepper beard perfectly trimmed. So, he says, scanning my notes. Your estranged mother and half-brother want almost $60,000 a year with no plan to repay it? That's right. And now they're publicly harassing you and trying to guilt you? Yes. I slide the folder across his desk. Texts, calls, social media, everything's documented. Martin nods. Smart move. Most people delete the evidence when upset. I'm a data analyst. I reply. Evidence is what I do. Have you considered a restraining order? He asks. The question catches me off guard. Isn't that a bit much? Michelle, he leans forward. They've tried accessing your accounts. That's criminal. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Ethan. We know where you work. Think your fancy company wants this drama? I show Martin the message. That, he says, is harassment. Plain and simple. After leaving his office, I stop at Best Buy to buy a doorbell camera and window sensors. That evening, while setting them up, my neighbor Mrs. Wilson appears with a plate of cookies. Saw you installing that security system, she says kindly. Everything okay? Just being cautious, I tell her, accepting the cookies. That night, I make 2 calls, one to schedule a session with Dr. Helen Drew, a therapist specializing in family trauma, and another to my father. Dad, can you come to Austin this weekend? I could use some support. 3 days later, Vanessa asks to meet again. This time, I choose a public park filled with people. I arrive early, sitting at a picnic table with my phone recording discreetly in my pocket. Vanessa arrives 15 minutes late, her expression carefully composed. Michelle, she begins, I want to apologize for the other day. I was emotional. Thank you. You have to understand, she continues, her voice syrupy with practiced emotion. When a mother sees her child struggling, she'll do anything. Ethan deserves the same opportunities you had. I worked 3 jobs during college, I remind her. No one paid my tuition, her lips tighten. That's because your father was too proud to ask for help. Family helps family. Is that what you call leaving a 10-year-old without warning or support? I ask before I can stop myself. I gave you life, she snaps. You should be grateful for that. Grateful? I repeat quietly. Family also respects boundaries. Mine is simple. I won't fund Ethan's education. Not now, not ever. After everything I've done, what exactly have you done? I stand. Name one thing you've done for me in 23 years. She hesitates, gathers her purse, and rises. I won't sit here and be attacked by my own daughter. You'll regret this. That evening, my doorbell rings. Through the new camera, I see my father's familiar pickup truck in the driveway. He hugs me tightly when I open the door, the scent of Old Spice and diner coffee surrounding me. Your mother always did know how to stir up storms, he says, dropping his duffel by the couch. I'm handling it. I know you are, he replies with a warm smile, the wrinkles around his eyes deepening. You get that from me, not her. I just thought you shouldn't have to handle this alone. Later that night, my phone vibrates with a security alert from the bank. Someone has attempted to transfer $12,000 from my savings account to an unknown recipient. The IP trace leads directly to a device registered under Ethan Grant. With unsteady hands, I forward the alert to Martin and submit a formal complaint. For the first time, what I feel isn't fear or anger, but a calm determination that this ends on my terms, not theirs. At 11:30 p.m., another notification appears, a second attempt, this time for $8,000. My finger pauses over the press charges button on the bank's security portal. From the kitchen doorway, Dad watches quietly. You sure about this, Shelley? I take a steady breath. Let's see how far they'll go. The next morning, at 6:15 a.m., another bank notification lights up my screen. Another login attempt. 5 within the last 12 hours, all blocked by the new authentication system I set up yesterday. Right on time, I murmur, opening the alert to record the timestamp. The coffee machine hums as I update my spreadsheet. Time, IP address, location, all neatly documented. Working with Aaron from the bank's security team has made a difference. After explaining everything, he arranged a monitoring protocol for my accounts. Now, each failed login triggers both a notification and a detailed record. We've got them, I whisper into the quiet apartment. The words taste like victory. The phone rings. Dad's voice comes through, tense but steady. They're getting desperate, he says without greeting. Vanessa just called. My stomach tightens. What did she say? She told me you're having a mental breakdown. Dad sighs, a sound that carries years of frustration with Vanessa's schemes. Said you're paranoid, refusing to help the family and spreading lies about them trying to access your accounts. Did you record it? Every word. Martin told me to keep the phone on speaker and use the recorder app. Attorney Martin Keller had become our guide these past few weeks. His advice stayed consistent. Document everything. record legally, and plan carefully. She claims your instability comes from my side of the family. Dad lets out a humorless laugh. That's rich, from a woman who left her 10-year-old. Without looking back, I check my work. Email. 3 new alerts. Ethan tried to access my company account last night. Can they arrest him for that? Dad asks. Our security team's building a case. I reply, scanning the report from IT. They traced the attempt to a coffee shop near Westgate. Didn't even use a VPN, I mutter. Amateur move. The doorbell rings, making me jump. Through the peephole, I spot Mrs. Wilson, my neighbor, holding a plate wrapped in foil. Thought you might need some real food, she says kindly. My husband always swore banana bread helped him think clearer when he worked at the DA's office. The unexpected kindness catches me off guard. Thank you. Those two still hanging around? She asks, peering past me. Not physically, I say. But they're staying busy. After she leaves, a voicemail appears. It's Vanessa, her voice trembling with rehearsed concern. Michelle, honey, please call me back. I'm at St. David's Medical Center. Something's wrong with my heart. They're running tests. I need you here, sweetie. Family should be together in times like this. My thumb hovers over the callback button, a reflex born of old guilt. Instead, I dial the hospital directly. St. David's emergency. This is Jessica. Hi. I'm checking on a patient, Vanessa Grant. Could you spell the last name? Grant, a pause. I'm not seeing anyone by that name admitted today. She called saying she's in your ER with heart issues. Another pause. We haven't had any cardiac admissions in the last 3 hours. Want me to check if she's registered under another name? No need, thank you. I note the time, log the call, and add it to my growing evidence file. Another manipulation tactic. Just one more for the record. Then my phone rings again. Unknown number. Hello? Is this Michelle Rowe? A woman's voice asks. Familiar, but I can't quite place it. Yes, who's speaking? Patricia Lambert, Vanessa's sister. My aunt, a name I've only heard in passing through my father's rare mentions. I got your number from Raymond, she continues. We need to talk about Vanessa. My guard goes up instantly. If this is about convincing me to give them money, God no, Patricia interrupts with a sharp laugh. I'm calling to warn you. This isn't the first time they've done this. My coffee cools as she begins to describe a 20-year pattern. Vanessa and Ethan had used similar tactics on other relatives. Friends, even the family of Vanessa's second husband. 3 years ago, Patricia says, they talked my daughter into co-signing a car loan. Ethan stopped paying after 2 months, destroyed Jenny's credit. They've done this before. Why tell me now? I ask, though I already sense the answer. Because Vanessa's telling everyone you're refusing to help poor Ethan, Patricia replies, saying you're wealthy now and holding a grudge over old mistakes. And you didn't believe her? Patricia sighs. Honey, I've seen this play out too many times. But others haven't, she pauses. There's a family dinner Sunday at Aunt Mildred's. Some relatives want your, side. The idea of facing distant family makes my stomach tighten, but I can't ignore the chance to set the record. Straight, I'll be there, I say, marking the date on my calendar. That afternoon, Dad arrives from Cleveland. His truck loaded with boxes. Found these in the attic, he says, setting one on my dining table. Thought they might help. Inside are old financial documents. Child support checks Vanessa never cashed, court filings from their divorce, and records of years of neglect. Your mother was always skilled at rewriting history, Dad mutters, spreading the papers out. But paper doesn't lie. That evening, Martin joins via Zoom to review the evidence. The protective order documentation is nearly done, he says. Scrolling through the files I've sent, bank statements, unauthorized access attempts, false hospital claims. The pattern Patricia mentioned is clear. We have a solid case. Will it be enough? I ask. More than enough, he assures me. The judge will see a consistent pattern of harassment and financial manipulation. My phone buzzes. Dr. Helen confirming our emergency therapy session to prep for court. Another alert follows from the bank. New logs of intrusion attempts. The trap is working just as planned. Later that night, Ethan texts, "This is getting out of hand. Mom went too far." I show Dad, who's setting up the air mattress in the guest room. The first crack, he says knowingly. When their united front breaks, Vanessa gets dangerous. Right on cue, her name flashes on his phone. You've turned everyone against me, she yells, so loudly I can hear her from across the room. My own family, my sister. You always poisoned them, Raymond. Dad keeps the phone at arm's length while my tablet records nearby. A new message from Ethan pops up. Missed the enrollment deadline. Lost my program spot. This is messed up. For a moment, I almost pity him. Almost. The consequences are catching up, Martin says when I forward him the messages. Stay focused. That night, I sleep soundly for the first time in weeks. Our plan in motion, evidence mounting, support solid. They thought they'd found another easy target. Instead, they walked right into a web of their own making. The truth will hold. The next morning, the lobby at Austin Cyber Solutions hums with typical Tuesday energy until I hear commotion by the front desk. Vanessa stands there, crying into a tissue, her hair perfectly placed for effect. My stomach tightens as co-workers start whispering, "Please, I need to see my daughter," she cries. It's a family emergency. Ethan lingers behind her, hands buried in his designer jeans, feigning concern. 3 months of escalating behavior, calls, texts, showing up at my cafe, and now, my workplace. Sandra, the receptionist, looks at me for guidance. I shake my head. "Ma'am," Sandra says politely, "you can't go upstairs without clearance." "Michelle." Vanessa spots me. Thank God, the doctor says it might be serious. We need to discuss medical history, family things you should know. Every eye in the lobby turns toward me. My heart pounds, but I keep my steps even. Dr. Helen's advice echoes. You control your reaction, not their behavior. Vanessa, I say calmly, this isn't appropriate. If you have medical concerns, email me. Email? She repeats, voice rising. My daughter wants me to email about possible cancer? After everything I did for you? Her words hit like a slap. Sacrificed? The woman who missed 17 birthdays, who never sent a single support payment? We can talk elsewhere, I say evenly, aware of the whispers spreading across the lobby. There's nothing to talk about, Ethan cuts in, stepping forward. We're family. Family helps each other, his tone sharpens. Unless you want everyone here knowing what kind of daughter you really are? The threat lingers in the air. My fingers tighten around my coffee mug, trying to steady the tremor in my hands. My mother left me when I was 10, I say, keeping my voice calm despite the storm rising inside me. You don't get to lecture me about family. This isn't over, Vanessa hisses as security approaches. You'll regret humiliating me like this. I know people in your field. After they're escorted out, my phone buzzes with a message from Ethan. That stunt will cost you. HR gets anonymous tips about family drama all the time. One payment, and this goes away. That evening, curled on my couch, I flip through the binder Martin prepared for tomorrow's hearing. Every text, email, bank alert, and security log from the last 3 months. A detailed record of harassment. My fingers rest on the protective order application. Dad calls just after 9. You ready for tomorrow, pumpkin? His voice, steady and kind, anchors me. I think so. Martin believes we have enough for the judge to approve the order. I'll be there. Front row, he pauses. When your mom left, I thought my biggest failure was not giving you a full family. But seeing you stand up for yourself now, I couldn't be prouder. A lump catches in my throat. Thanks, Dad. Get some rest. Tomorrow, we end this. The next morning, the county courthouse looms like a fortress of stone and bureaucracy. I grip my binder so tightly my knuckles pale. Martin meets us at the entrance, his silver hair glinting in the sunlight. Remember, he says as we pass security, stay composed and let me present the evidence clearly. Judge Williams values structure. Dad squeezes my shoulder. You've got this. Courtroom 4 smells faintly of lemon polish and nerves. Vanessa and Ethan sit across the aisle, dressed in muted tones, a deliberate attempt at humility. Vanessa's red eyes and Ethan's stiff suit look rehearsed. When Judge Williams enters, the room stills. She's small, with steel gray hair and eyes that miss nothing. Case number 2025 CV 4872. Roe versus Roe and Grant, the bailiff announces. The proceedings blur until Martin calls me to the stand. Vanessa's gaze follows me, cold and calculating. I place my hand on the Bible, swear the oath, and begin. I tell the court about the night Vanessa reappeared after 23 years, how she assessed my home before demanding thousands for Ethan's education. And when you refused? Martin prompts. They escalated, I reply, outlining the unauthorized bank access, mailbox tampering, and public confrontations. Submit Exhibit D, Martin says. I hand over the text messages between Vanessa and Ethan, obtained legally through a subpoena. If we push her hard enough, she'll pay to make it stop, Vanessa had written. Already tried her accounts again. Maybe threaten her job next, Ethan replied. Martin presents each piece of evidence methodically. Failed login attempts from Ethan's devices, recorded voicemails of Vanessa's manipulation, and building footage of them trying to enter without permission. And most recently? Martin asks. They showed up at my workplace yesterday, caused a scene, and threatened to report me to HR if I didn't pay. Vanessa's attorney argues she only wanted reconciliation, but the pattern of behavior is undeniable. When Ethan testifies, his story contradicts hers in key details. Judge Williams reviews the final security report. 17 unauthorized. Attempts from 3 devices tied to Ethan. The court finds clear and convincing evidence of harassment and financial exploitation, she declares. A protective order is granted for 2 years. No contact within 500 feet of the petitioner's home, work, or person. Each violation carries a $5,000 fine. Her gavel falls, decisive and final. Outside, sunlight hits my face as Martin hands me the paperwork. With this order, we can hold off on criminal charges for now, he explains. But if they violate it, we're ready. Dad wraps his arm around me. Let's go home, Michelle. As we leave, I glimpse Vanessa and Ethan whispering angrily with their attorney. For the first time in months, their faces no longer trigger fear or guilt, only relief. That evening, a message arrives from a friend in Cleveland. Vanessa and Ethan are selling their Chicago apartment. Moving to a smaller town. I set my phone down and take a deep breath. The walls of my condo no longer feel like they're closing in. That night, I sleep without checking the locks 3 times. Some victories don't shout. They whisper, "You're safe now." 6 months later, the Austin air drifts through my open balcony, carrying the scent of rosemary and garlic. My hand traces the new biometric lock by my door, now a reminder of strength, not fear. Michelle, these potatoes need another minute. Dad calls from the kitchen, wearing the old Cleveland Browns apron I gave him years ago. No rush, I reply, setting water glasses on the table for 4. The doorbell rings. My pulse stays calm. Progress. Through the peephole, I spot Kara from work, and Martin, whose legal expertise helped me reclaim my life. Come in. I smile. Dinner's almost ready. Dad's making his famous garlic potatoes. Martin lifts a bottle of wine. Thought we'd toast your promotion. Senior data analyst has a nice ring to it. Kara grins. You earned it. Laughter flows easily through dinner. No tension, no guarded pauses, just conversation and warmth. After dessert, Dad opens a folder. The diner offer came through higher than expected, he says, spreading papers across the table. This is great, Dad. I smile. You could retire next year? Semi-retire, he chuckles. I'll consult 3 days a week. Smart move. I pull out my own folder. I set up the $600 monthly transfer we talked about. Automatic, consistent. He nods. That's more than generous. Mickey, later as we clean up, I mention, Dr. Helen says I've made real progress. You seem lighter, he agrees. I wrote something last night that finally made sense. I say quietly. Love doesn't mean losing yourself. Dad pauses, holding a plate midair. Took me 60 years to learn that. The next morning, I call 3 local high schools about expanding my mentorship program for girls in STEM. What began with 2 students has grown to 15. I now donate 10% of my income to their scholarship fund, not out of guilt, but purpose. We'd love to have you speak next month, the counselor says. These girls need to hear from someone who's overcome, not just succeeded. I'd be honored, I reply, and mean it. That evening, I watch the Austin sunset spill across the skyline. My phone buzzes, a message from Vanessa. I'm in town next week. Can we meet? 6 months ago, it would have shaken me. Now I breathe deeply and type, I'm not ready, but I wish you well. When your actions show change, let me know. I set the phone down, feeling no anger or guilt, only peace. Later, I write my final journal entry for this chapter. Blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. Sometimes protecting yourself is the most loving thing you can do. The family we choose can heal what the family we're born into could not. I close the journal, glance around my apartment, not just a home, but a sanctuary I've built. Protected not by locks, but by the boundaries I've learned to uphold. Have you ever had to choose boundaries over obligation? Tell me in the comments below.